Good evening, morning, afternoon, Cyclopeans. Welcome to Sci-Clops Podcast 28, brought to you by H.P. Lovecraft's The Dunwich Horror. And as we always say, if you haven't read any H.P. Lovecraft or you've just read a little bit, get to work and read them all because they're all online for free, and you will be very happy you did. It's pretty much the basis of all the major horror today. That being said, we're going to go into some... what are we going to start with first? My name's Dan.
No, I'm Tom. Comics, I guess, as usual.
We're going to go right into comics today.
I got one Marvel, one DC, one Dark Horse, one Image. I'll start off with Image. Killer Be Killed, number 8. This was just a series I picked up on a whim. I saw the first issue at the comic store and said, I'll check it out. And it had a really cool premise. College kid tries to kill himself, doesn't succeed, and as payment for saving his life, basically, Demon says he has to kill somebody once a month or he dies. 8 issues in, and the series has really started to explore the possibility that maybe he's just a big nutto and there is no demon, and that all of this is in his head and he's just out there killing people he thinks are scumbags. And so it's a weird mix like between Boondock Saints and like some horror story where there's a demon behind the strings. But this one's really cool. The last issue was entirely from a different character's perspective, and this one picks up along the same timeline, but from the main character's perspective. And it really is starting to show how, it is kind of a silly premise. There's a college student out there murdering people, and he's not going to get caught in like a week.
Yeah. And
this one's showing like how everything's snowballing and catching up to him, and all his past actions are coming back to bite him in the butt. But I still love this series, and it's Ed Brubaker, Sean Phillips, and Elizabeth Breitweiser. And I'm pretty sure the first trade's got to be out by now. And if you haven't picked it up, I'd go for it because Image trades are usually like $9 or $12 tops.
Yeah, they're taking right off with these comics, aren't they?
Yeah. And that brings us to Aliens, Dead Orbit.
This
I've
been really excited for. We found this. I got to jump into it because we found this the other day online. We're like, we got to get this thing. So I ran out and grabbed Tom and said, Tom, go get this right now. And he did.
I'm pretty sure this is a 4-issue miniseries. Dark Horse is the home of pretty much Alien and Predator and all that. We start off on an orbiting space station. We have a crew of, I think, 5 or 6 workers. And a ship comes into orbit around their station, and they try hailing it. Nobody answers. Surprise. So they send a team aboard the ship to find out what happened to the crew and if there's anything on the ship that they can, salvage and use for parts.
What do you think's on the ship?
Yeah. Now the only real knock I have against this is it's and really it's the Alien franchise in general. Is it becomes a bit formulaic. Scary, abandoned ship, station, whatever, aliens inside, they kill everybody. But the one thing I will say for this one is it really feels like that first movie again.
Oh, good.
It's like the Nostromo, where it's that dilapidated ship that, it's held together by duct tape and all this crap, but it still works. And that's kind of what this feels like. A couple of the inside panels, it's like you're back in that first ship from Alien again. And there's a cool little, they do a fun little play on you where you think the alien's there and it's not. But it was good. It definitely had the atmosphere of classic Alien, and this is only the first issue, so it's the big setup thing. Cool. So we'll see how the other 3 are. But I definitely say if you're curious and you're an Alien fan, go ahead and check it out. It's still fun.
Love our Alien stuff, and I was really excited when I saw this because it looks like they're getting more and more Alien stuff out. The comics and all the toys and everything getting ready for the movie, which looks really good. And I'm really liking the latest, the prequel trailer that we saw not the prequel. The prequel to the new movie. That's
like the newest thing is releasing like snippet clips that may not be in the movie themselves, but are still related directly to it.
But it looked really good this time.
It did.
So we're like, this looks better. Okay, sorry, I jumped off the comics for a moment.
That brings us to Action Comics number 978. Superman is still trying to figure out who has been altering reality since he merged with his New 52 counterpart. Yep. A good issue. The only problem is it really is kind of fillery. It really doesn't feel like this issue is needed. It's basically Superman reviewing his history, all the big moments, coming to Metropolis, meeting Lois, fighting Doomsday, dying, etc., etc.
Almost like the writers are stalling for time.
Yeah. They did do a couple nice blendings of the pre-Flashpoint Superman with the New 52 Superman, so it was kind of nice to explain some of that stuff away, but This one was a little bit on the fillery side. We did have like a new villain stable forming up as this was going on between the new villain they introduced, Blank, and Metallo coming back and stuff like that. So there was a little bit of a progress on like who Superman's next big villains are going to be. But this, and I could say the same thing about last issue back in comics. It felt just a bit fillery. And I don't like, with comics and shows like that, episodes or issues like that where you're clearly just trying to,
when
throw
for
something
the money you're
out there
kicking out for these things, you can't be fooling around with it.
And, but it's good. The Superman stuff has still been, by and large, a lot better than the New 52 stuff. Cool. A lot more memorable. And that brings me to my last one, Old Man Logan. Number 22, part of the Past Lives storyline, where Logan has been hurled into his past by a magical amulet because he was trying to get back to the wasteland to save Bruce Banner's baby. Now, when they did this, I was a little worried, because during the Secret Wars Old Man Logan storyline, it basically just became Logan gets knocked from area of Battleworld to area of Battleworld, and then, he explores different facets of things with no real sense of story going on. This one, on the other hand, him ricocheting through his past lives actually does serve a purpose.
Cool.
Everyone's told Logan that trying to go back into the past and fix mistakes you made will never end well. And Logan said he kind of knew that, but he felt like he still had to try anyway. But as he bounces from life to life, he finally starts to come to the realization that you can't fix your mistakes. The only thing you can do is push into the future and make better choices and help people along the way. But in addition to that, we get to see a lot of Wolverine's highlights, and we see him fighting the Hulk. Mm-hmm. We see him in Japan again for the and it's a real fun little nostalgia trip while also helping Logan advance his own
cool.
story. So that was fun, and that's all the comics I have.
I'd like to see more Old Man Logan. By the way, the Old Man Logan movie, pardon me, is coming out now in black and white
for one day.
Yeah, and select theaters. So they basically screwed everybody. They got this big hype going. They're like, "Oh, we're going to do this great," and I'm like, "Oh, this is going to be great," because we still had a couple people we're going to take to this movie, and we're like all excited about it. And then it comes out, and drops. I think it was on Slash Film yesterday, and they're like, "Yeah, that movie that's coming out is going to be like in a handful of theaters for one day." It's like, come on, man. So, maybe, you know what? I'll bet they do. I bet you'll see
It'll be on the Blu-ray. It'll be an alternate
stick
cut.
the whole
thing.
They
did that with Mad Max, Black and Chrome edition.
Pardon me, I'm coughing like crazy. Yeah, they'll put them both on there, and some other making of and stuff. So it'll be a really cool Blu-ray. I'm going to jump into some comics here. I've, as usual, have been doing a lot of online comics, and I found some new ones and some more stuff that's really, really cool here. The first one I'm going to cover is Gift Revolver. It's Gift Revolver, like a gun. And it's by I'm going to apologize, guys, if I'm not saying your name right here. Adrian and Steve Gutierrez.
Yep.
Okay, I hope I said that right. So I apologize if I mangled your name. And it's an interesting one. It's an urban comic. It's a free online comic. It's sci-fi horror mix. It's an urban comic, and it's a couple guys, Gift Revolver and Filth One. I kind of snicker because I love these names, and they're both buddies, and they got these kind of like these names for themselves because they're hanging out down in an urban neighborhood, and they're rappers, and they make beats and stuff, and while they're struggling through life, Gift Revolver gets imbued with these superpowers, and it's this thing appears to him and gives him these superpowers right about the same time this ancient creature is released from I want to say a prison or whatever, a dimension in a pyramid over in Egypt.
And sure, that's just a coincidence.
Rolling into LA and just starts laying waste to all these people and possessing this guy, and it's just a blast. And it's really creepy artwork. I love it. It's this dark. It reminds me of a little bit is and I hope these guys don't find this bad. It reminds me a little bit of Spawn, way back in the early 90s.
Kinda, I can see that.
Todd McFarlane,
yeah.
We're looking at some of the
oh man, Spawn had
here.
some messed up.
And this was like I liked Spawn, and I like this too. This is a lot of fun, and I can see these guys. I hope they add a lot more to this quick, because this thing, in my opinion, is another one of these comics that could go a lot of directions, and you could actually do a film or an actual cartoon out of this thing, and I think it would resonate. And I think they're also making they've got some videos to go along with this. They've got some music they've made, and it's more like hip hop or beats, and I highly advise you click on the link here. I'm going to provide the link, and just check out the images, check out the comic, and of course give it a read. So I'm liking this gift Revolver, and the next thing I'm going to cover really quick is Star Power. Star Power, which is one of my favorites, as I've been following that for quite a while. Star Power, another free online comic, sci-fi, good, clean fun, lots of great illustration in this thing. This comic I really have liked a lot because about every few pages, not only do I like the illustration, but the artist come out with a frame or two that I was like, man, I'd like a poster of this in my Geek office. Really good stuff. And so Danica, who's the Star Power, if you've been following us along, she's come to a situation where she is going along with a expedition to find new civilizations, and she's kind of leading them along. They're leading, and she checks out the planets. And she's come into a fight between two new races, and she's torn because she doesn't. It's a classic superhero problem. They got two sides, both fighting, both have a good argument. Who do you pick?
Yeah.
And basically, there's this robot that's been watching her, this ancient robot that they found, pardon me, who's been following her. And he goes, you better pick the right one or you're dead. So you got to make these big decisions. So she's kind of freaking out at this point. Another one I highly recommend you read. Again, free, online, great illustrations. And another one we got into here was Fisheye, which came across my desk. Fisheye is a sci-fi horror thing. Think of oh dear, what am I trying to say? It's a combo of oh, what am I? Oh shoot, I'm having a mind blank here. It's a guy, a cop brought up in a town. His whole life is on TV. The Truman Show. Truman Show. Thank you. I'm looking right. I can't find it. It's like Truman Show meets Die Hard. That's the way they describe it. So it gets really violent. It's not light like the Truman Show was. This cop, they're playing this guy. They're making him go through all this stuff for TV ratings, and the whole world's watching this guy. And at some point, of course, things go wrong, and this massive amount of violence starts breaking out. And it's just like these guys are just blowing each other away, blood and brains all over the place. Great little comic. I highly recommend this one. Again, I'll have a link to it. Pretty cool illustrations as well. Fisheye's by oh dear.
It's kind of like some of the Judge Dredd stuff too.
Yeah, like Judge Dredd. That's what I was thinking. And a lot of also Mignola. And you can almost see Mignola a little bit in the background. That's what I felt. You see Dredd, I see Mignola, and nice sloppy, bloody, messy artwork, which is really cool. Written by I hope I say this right. Massimo Rossi. Art by Stefano Cartacelli and Simone Bertoni. Yes, it's out of Italy, and I'm pretty sure it's out of Italy, somewhere over there. And so you guys did a great job on this. I'll be following this one, and it's kind of cool. They go episode by episode with the TV series. We're almost at the end. It's
not issue, it's episode, whatever.
Yeah, if you see this, don't be alarmed. This is actually issue 1, but we're coming up on episode 73 or whatever. So it's the TV series is almost over, and the TV producers are trying to figure out what they're going to do with this guy. So they decide they're going to kill him. But things began going really wrong. So you're at episode 73 in the comic, but actually number 1. So you're starting right at the beginning of the comic. It's a brand new comic too, so it's a great place to start. And by the way, really quick on a side note, that the gift Revolver is also fairly new. You can get through that pretty quick. Star Power has a lot more to it. If you want a comic you're going to dive into with a lot, that's been a lot of work done already, you'll be reading Star Power for a while. So we got into that. That is it for comics with me. Do you want to go into TV or movies?
First, I have a little bit of comics news. Comixology is an online comic service where you can read stuff from, the bigger companies or independent stuff, and you can just get it all online. I'm always I prefer physical comics to digital ones, but I understand some people like the digital ones or just don't have the space to store real comics, so they use Comixology. But Marvel has just joined Comixology, this subscription service. So now I'm not sure if it's like everything Marvel's ever done or how much is, but Marvel is going to be on there in the future.
Very cool.
You'll be able to get stuff like that. Now moving on to TV. Flash and Arrow are back after that unexplainable couple-week hiatus. Barry went to the future this week in the Flash instead of the past, he went from 2017 to 2024 to see how he beat Savitar in the future. And
just can't leave the timeline alone, can you, Barry?
well, he's not messing with it this time. He's messing with the future, so it hasn't even happened yet, technically. And he goes to the future to see if A, they know who Savitar is, and B, how he beat him. He runs into Cisco first, and Cisco has not been having a great time. After last week's episode, Caitlin has become Killer Frost. That's pretty much the long and short of it. And in a fight between Cisco and Caitlin blows his arms off with her ice powers.
Whoa!
So he's got cyborg arms, like
I'm
all the way up,
behind a little bit on this
all the
too.
way
I
up to
didn't know
his
this,
elbows.
So, yeah. We should have warned everybody. There's some major spoilers coming.
Oh yeah, you should know by now. There's spoilers.
Yeah.
So and nobody's having a great time. Iris has been dead for years. Joe's often depressed. Wally has been beaten into a coma by Savitar.
Awesome.
It's just like everyone and their mother has just had a terrible life ever since Savitar showed up. And so and Barry doesn't get any of the answers he's looking for, by and large. They don't know who Savitar is. Caitlin knows, but she's not going to tell him.
Not going to tell him.
And it's
who knows? Caitlin knows.
Yeah.
Of course she does.
And Barry's not, and the future Barry is not very helpful here until the very end. But it was a good look at kind of a wake up call for Barry into seeing what's going to happen if he can't pull himself together and save Iris and stop Savitar.
Okay.
And really become the hero he's really should have been all this whole time, instead of trying to have Wally save Iris from Savitar for him. So I won't go into what else happens, but we get a lot of fun nods, like future Barry's got a different suit. Mirror Master and Top make an appearance again.
Oh, cool.
So it's a lot of fun stuff happens, and then Barry obviously goes back to the past, where his time, with some new information, and they tease the Savitar reveal at the end, because Caitlin from 2017 has escaped, and she's wandering around, and Savitar appears to her, and he says, "We should work together," and she says, "Why would I trust you?" And then the suit kind of like opens up, and somebody comes out. You don't know who.
Yeah.
And she says, "What do you want me to do?"
That's awesome. I think it would be a blast if they made Savitar Iris somehow. It'd be like so much fun. It'd be a twist.
Oh no, it was a guy in the suit.
It was a guy, but
this
whole thing is like it's
she
really
fakes her death. She's like, I just can't stand.
Yeah.
I just can't stand you, Barry.
It's stringing along Barry and Iris as long as they can go, which is brilliant the way they've done it. They get, what's going to happen to Barry
Ticking
and
clock.
Iris, the love story. Yep. So,
and then Arrow this week was also pretty good. Now that Adrian Chase has been outed as Prometheus, he's gone into full-on murder mode here. He's being hunted by the FBI, the NSA, Argus, all these, and he's evading all of them. And
isn't it amazing how they can do that?
Yeah. But this episode really, Chase was kind of a backdrop here for Felicity, because she's been working with that hacker group Helix for the past couple episodes, and they've been doing some questionable stuff. And now she's getting into this dark web of, lies and secrets, and she's almost becoming like Oliver, or how much can I keep from the team and still do what I need to do. And so it's almost setting up a whole showdown between the rest of the team and Felicity here.
Secrets within secrets.
Yeah, she's become to the point where the ends justify the means. It doesn't matter what I have to hack, who I have to let out, whatever. As long as Chase gets brought to justice, it's all worth it. And Oliver is trying to reel her back in, which is hilarious because it's usually the other way around. And so it was, we had some fun action between, some set pieces with them trying to catch catch Chase and all that.
Awesome.
But the real meat of this episode was Felicity is starting to go off the deep end, and the rest of the team is going to have to try to reel her back in.
No, you're right, though. It's usually the other way around. She's always the one, right from almost the first episode, way back in Flash, when she was showing up with who is this guy? Don't worry, I got him under control. But not anymore, so.
Yeah. So that's good. It's nice to see them back, and, the season finales are fast approaching. I think they each have 3 or 4 episodes left, so, the steam's got to be put on for both of them before we get to the final showdowns with everybody. Switching out to movies.
Movies, here we go.
Unfortunately, we talked about Alien earlier. Alien 5 is dead, apparently.
Yeah,
the director of District 9, Neil Blomkamp?
Blomkamp? Yeah.
Something?
Blomkamp.
Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. But he was going to be the one doing Alien 5, and I was looking forward to that because I thought District 9 was a fantastic sci-fi movie. But apparently Ridley Scott recently has said that it, for whatever reason, is just not going to get off the ground, and Alien 5 looks like it's not going to happen, or it's definitely not going to happen with him, so they might have to do it later. But right now, Ridley Scott's just worrying about Alien Covenant and then the sequel to Alien Covenant, which is going to tie right into the first Alien movie. So, I mean, that's sad to hear. You know, you never want to hear a franchise that you like has a dead movie in it.
It'll be interesting to see why Ridley Scott didn't want it out, which will.
No, he wasn't. I don't think it was. I think it might have been just a disagreement between Neil and the studio or something like that, because I don't think Ridley Scott's even really involved in it too much. I think he's producing it, but I don't think he was like, helming it or like.
We'll probably never find out if that's the case. They won't talk, but I'd really like to know, because this Alien Covenant stuff coming out is going to be really cool. We hope. We hope it's going to be.
Everything I've seen from it so far has got me really excited. The first trailer was great. That little 2-minute snippet with oh my god, what's his name? David and Dr. Shaw.
Oh, that was amazing.
Was great. Everything about this is like
David's
classic
up to no
Alien.
Good. He's a real jerk, isn't he?
Well, think about it. His whole life, everybody tells him, you're just a stupid robot. Who cares if we kill you? You don't matter.
But he's gone more than sentient. He's gone like devious now. So that's like really cool.
Yeah.
And you got another movie or not?
The first trailer for The Dark Tower
just came out today. Yeah.
And oh man, I was right.
Yep.
They are gonna screw with it so much.
Yeah.
That trailer was like nothing like the book.
I sent it out to my nerd crew this morning, and it was like, this isn't anything like the book.
Nothing like the book.
Because I saw like a dimension door opening.
Well, that should happen, but not in the way it did.
No, that's what I mean.
What happens when? Well, spoiler alert here for those of you who haven't read the books or anything like that. It'll be like 30 seconds. In the books, Roland, when he goes through one of those doors, enters somebody's head, and he controls them. You know?
Yeah.
Like he did that with Eddie, then he did that with the serial killer guy and all that stuff. But it's not like Roland just pops up in the middle of New York as himself. And they changed so much. Like, Jake's having dreams about... Which, in the book, does happen later in the series.
Was there a psychologist in the book, too?
I don't remember there being one in the book, but there might be. It's been years since I read the books.
Yeah.
But Jake exists in Roland's world already. And then he runs into another Jake in, quote-unquote, our world. But it's like...
We'll see.
What?
See what
they do. There was a couple moments that they really did well from the book, like the speed loading, like Roland does in the books. That was cool, but it just looks like he changed a lot of stuff here. And I again, it's going to be one of those cases where the book fans are not going to be happy with it at first, anyway, because of how much they changed. And if you're a new fan and you haven't seen any or read any Dark Tower stuff, I will give you that was a pretty cool trailer.
Yeah.
If you're coming into this not having any foreknowledge.
A lot of big whooshes and booms.
Yeah,
whoosh, boom.
The monsters look really cool and stuff like that. So I mean, I'll probably go see it when it comes out anyway. But I was watching this trailer like that didn't happen.
Yeah.
That didn't.
That
happen.
book was great too. It
oh,
opened up with a creepy.
All 7 books.
Zombie
are fantastic.
Town and oh god, so I really liked the book.
But yeah, that was kind of I knew they were changing stuff. I didn't realize they were changing that much.
We'll see where that goes. Another thing's really hot right now, is the Marvel Defenders trailer just dropped.
Just watched that
summer.
too,
and it looks interesting. I'm not sure where I am on this one yet.
I liked it. It was nice to see all the payoff of all 4 shows coming together: Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist.
Yeah.
And it's cool because there's that sense of grandeur almost that when the first Avengers movie happened was fantastic.
Yep.
Because you'd seen Iron Man, you'd seen Thor, you'd seen Captain America, you'd seen Hulk, and Black Widow and Hawkeye made appearances in other movies, and finally watching it all coalesce on one project was just like, oh, this is so cool.
Great, yeah.
And this is kind of what you're getting here. It's like on a slightly smaller scale.
Yep.
But still, you're like, I love Daredevil. I thought Jessica Jones was good. Luke Cage was really good. I still got to get into Iron Fist, but I've got a couple months. But it's like all this stuff, the years of work is coming together into this one franchise. And it's going to be really cool, I think.
Maybe they'll even drop some new characters out there that's some deep in the bench guys and girls that we'll see.
And Sigourney Weaver's going to be the bad guy, and that'll be really
awesome.
cool. Any excuse to throw her onto anything.
Oh yeah, she's great.
She's like been popping up in random places, and it's really good. Like she was in the cabin in the woods for like no, it was just like she was there, and I'm like, oh, this is so awesome. And then she was in that movie Paul, which was again,
she's doing like a Mark Hamill. She's
just popping up into places.
I think
it's
I'll
great.
Just appear in this thing.
Yeah, I'll do it. Why not?
I'll do a voice for that.
Like Helen Mirren was in Fast and Furious 8.
Yeah. What are you doing in here? That's awesome. You got any more movies you want to cover?
That was, I think, it for movies. I think I actually do have a fair amount of video game stuff, but if you got more movie stuff, go for it.
A couple quick movies in here. As always, we do this off the cuff. Yeah. We're zipping right along because we got so much stuff here. I've got Kill Command that both of us did see here. It came out on, was it Netflix?
Yeah, it was on Netflix. I'm not sure if it's in Netflix original,
I can't remember. Though. I apologize. I can't remember where I saw it. If you check right now, it's on Netflix or Hulu, one of the two.
It's on Netflix. I just can't remember if it's an original movie.
It was pretty good, though. Yeah. It was fun. It was a sci-fi flick. Basically, a bunch of Marines, a little bit into the future with a lot of electronic drones and robotic...
cyborgs are starting to become a thing.
Yeah. And they go to an island for training, and it turns out that the cyborgs and the drones have pretty much taken over and killed everybody on the island and are hunting these guys down instead. And so they're basically trying to survive. And one of the people with them is a cyborg.
Yeah.
Who's from a company that runs these drones, and she's half human, half cyborg, and she's kind of interesting. It's a good movie. It's not great, but good.
Special effects were
excellent.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
for
I really like
something that didn't come out in theaters.
My only complaint, I think they could have had a little bit deeper story in it. I don't want to give away too much here, but it's basically if you like a good shootout and pretty good action flick, and the special effects too were good. Fun. So really enjoyed this one. Easy film to watch, and it's like.
It's like we talked about Spectral a couple months back, where Spectral had like the special effects and things like that were much higher than you expect out of a straight-to-DVD movie.
Somebody at Netflix has a good special effects budget, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And they're getting better and better, and nothing bad with these movies. They're fun to watch.
Yeah.
Back like in the old days of HBO, when you used to get a few good sci-fi, fantasy, and horror flicks go by and be like, oh, that was a really good one, but it wasn't great. It was just good.
Yeah.
So anyway, got one more here. The Kubo and the Two Strings is on, and this one I want to say Netflix again.
Yep.
Keep it. We're watching so many of these now. You got Hulu, Netflix, Amazon, all this stuff. So Kubo this is my short review of Kubo, which I thought last summer or last spring when I saw this coming out, I thought it was going to be the big hit, and it just kind of like came out and floated away, and that was the end of it. I was like, that's odd. It opens up really strong. It gets really annoying in the middle, and then it closes pretty good. And the main problem I had, and this is not a PC comment or anything like that, was that it's a whole bunch of Japanese characters with very New England style
Matthew
voices.
McConaughey voicing a Japanese warrior spirit thing.
Yeah,
you're like, what?
Oh my god, it just got wicked annoying after a while. I was like, oh my god, and the monkey was, I can't think of who the woman was for the monkey.
No, it wasn't Angelina Jolie. Wasn't Angelina Jolie?
No, she was a big name, and I'm having a mind blank here, but it was just annoying as heck, and it's like, oh my god, and they're supposed to be Japanese. And ironically, I went to IMDb and looked at this, and they did put a lot of Asian people in it, but they all have like Americans. New England American accents or whatever, So it's like, okay, whatever, nice straight up American accents, or whatever you want to call that. If you live in Mississippi, you'll think I'm nuts, but at any rate, it was
visually it was really cool though.
Visually it was good, but I don't know, I'd give it I don't even know what I'd give it out of 10. It wasn't terrible. It just wasn't.
6.5, 7.
Yeah, 6.5. We'll give it a 6.5 on that one. It wasn't great. If you're looking for something to kill some time, not too bad. But I don't know if you're going to be able to get through those accents. And Rogue Warrior, Tracy Birdsall is in this one, and it's a smaller, it's more not a really indie film, but Tracy Birdsall's in there, and gentleman Kircher, and oh God, my screen just turned off. And he was in the Hobbit. He was one of the dwarves. Yep.
Oh, cool.
And there's a couple other names in there too. And this looks like a lot of fun. It's a trailer coming out. I've been following this for quite a while. I thought it was going to be out in February. I think that's when they're originally going to have it. It must have gotten delayed or something. No big deal. It's coming out this summer. Going to be a limited release in theaters, and then Walmart's going to pick up the DVD and put it in Walmart. It's a sci-fi flick in the future. Let me try to give you a better rundown than I'm doing here. Distant future, overthrow humanity, artificial intelligence on Earth. it rises up and starts killing people and other worlds too. So Sienna, the main character, played by Tracy Birdsall, has to get her crew together and head off to the center of the galaxy and find this thing and kill it. And lots of big booms and shootouts and droids and robots flying around.
How come
and
the AI never likes us?
They never like us. The AI always rises up.
Yeah.
And ironically, here's another thing too, is looking at the latest news, the U.S. military, the Navy and Marines have just dropped this whole bunch of, like, a small robot army. They're like unveiling, like, look at this cool stuff we can do. Like, they never learn. Come on, guys. Like, these things are like.
Have you not watched Terminator?
Yeah, like
James Cameron tried to warn us all.
Oh my God, they got like a submarine that thinks, and a thing on treads that thinks, and another bunch of drones flying around, and it's like Rogue Warrior, but like on us again. So anyway, I'm looking forward to this Rogue Warrior. It looks like a lot of fun. Great pizza and beer movie. Looking forward to this thing. Should be a good time. So that, I think, is it for movies for me. By the way, we will have trailers and links on the site for all these movies: Rogue Warrior, Kubo, not Kubo, but Rogue Warrior and Kill. I don't know if I put Kill Command up on the site, but definitely got a lot of stuff on Rogue Warrior. So it's actually called Rogue Warrior Robot Fighter, and the main trailer came out for that. Because if you just try to put in Rogue Warrior,
there's like a video game called Rogue Warrior.
There's a million
like
other
yeah.
Rogue Warrior everythings, and you go to Amazon, look for it, you're like, oh, it's going to be books and comics and shirts and everything else, but it's not the movie. So Rogue Warrior Robot Fighter. I can't say that 3 times fast. What do you got for other
other stuff I got? There's a couple video game things come out. Darksiders 3 just recently got announced as happening. Darksiders was a franchise by THQ. You literally play as one of the Horsemen of the Apocalypse, but instead of war, death, famine, and pestilence, in this universe, I believe it's war, death, fury, and strife. And the first game, you were playing as War, who gets tricked into basically kickstarting the apocalypse. And Mark Hamill, funny enough, we mentioned Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill played your sidekick, the Watcher. It was a fun game. It definitely was an interesting premise, and it was a cool way to start the franchise. 2 came out, and 2, what you play as Death, and you're trying to exonerate War for being, tricked into jumpstarting the apocalypse. And I forget the actor's name, but he played the main villain in the Crow movie with Brandon Lee, Top Dollar.
I'll never remember. That was years ago.
Yeah, he was in Alien 4. Funny enough, another Alien callback. 2 was a lot better. It still had a great story, but the gameplay was a lot more fun and fluid, and it was open world, so you could just run around and do whatever you want. And then THQ, the studio who owned the Darksiders franchise, went out of business. And I was really bummed because I was looking forward to Darksiders 3. But when they went out of business and bankrupt, they sold off all their IPs. And Darksiders didn't get initially picked up, but eventually Nordic Games swooped in and got it.
Cool.
And they've re-released 1 and 2 as high-def remasters. And anytime you see a franchise start to get more than one game released as a high-def remaster, it's kind of a good indication that a new one's in the pipeline. Mm-hmm. And I figured it'd be a ways off anyway, but they just recently announced that Darksiders 3 is going to be coming out. And this time around, you're going to be playing as the Horseman Fury, and it's going to take place during the same time period that 2 is. This is a lot of fun. I think it's a franchise that doesn't get enough publicity and love as it should, because it's a really good... it's like somebody threw God of War and Zelda together is the best way I can describe it, and it's fantastic.
So you're really liking this one.
I was really excited to see this. And I don't think there's any word on an expected release date. I don't think it's going to be this year. It'll probably be sometime in 2018 if I had to take a guess, because we're almost we're halfway through 2017 almost at this point. But really looking forward to that. And the next one is, ironically, another 3 related tease. Far Cry 3 came out 2011, I want to say, maybe 2012. Ubisoft has had the Far Cry franchise going for a while. The newest one was Far Cry Primal, where you're playing in 60,000 BC, and it's really cool. I've played 3 and 4. I thought they were both fantastic games. But Ubisoft recently just posted a teaser with the island from 3, and it is in French because Ubisoft's a French country, and basically what it translates to in English is an island we never left. And they also posted a tease of the main villain Voss and one of his more famous lines of dialogue being the, like, have I ever told you the definition of insanity? I'm guessing. And so this is interesting because Far Cry 3 was pretty open and shut with this story. I mean, I could see them maybe going back to that island. Maybe it's a prequel about how Voss goes from being a member of the indigenous tribe with his sister to becoming the lunatic psycho mercenary killer he became. But I don't know, we'll see. But it's interesting that because they've been kind of mum on what the next game would be after Primal. And Primal's not old, but it's been out for a while, and usually I would have expected a franchise like that to get, the 5th game teased fairly quick, or the 6th game actually at this point teased fairly quickly. So that's pretty cool, and I'll be looking forward to that.
And that's it for video games for you?
Yep.
I want to jump really quick. I've been following JoJo's Bizarre Adventure in anime. Jumping over to anime real fast. We're all over the place here. It is getting better and better, I gotta tell you. And I can't say this enough. I never thought a year ago I'd be watching anime, and I got turned on to it. And the latest one I'm watching, of course, is JoJo's, which is about 1,000 episodes long. Who knows what it is, but it's long, and they're slowly getting closer and closer to Lord Dio in this one. And of course, they're using the Rockstar names, and they've gone up against one of the enemies they went up against was Zenyatta and his brother Mondada. And if you're a police fan, you know Zenyatta Mondada. And the book that Zenyatta had, it was either Zenyatta or Mondada, has this little book where you can read from the future and find out what's going to happen next. And the book is called The Oingo Boingo. I'm like, this guy's having such a blast with all these bands from the 80s and stuff. Yeah. So I was kind of laughing, and they'll sneak like little names in there, and like someone will pop in and pop out, and they'll be named after a band, and you got to catch it really quick. But anyway, it's getting really funny now. It's actually getting funny. The 5 of them and this little dog are going along through adventure after adventure, and the dog's name is Iggy. Here we go, Iggy Pop, and so Iggy has a tendency. He's a really nasty, rotten little dog who likes to grab people by the face and pass gas as hard as he can. So it's a really terrible, gross part we've gotten into here. There's a lot of like poop jokes and stuff, and it's pretty funny actually. I'm not, I'm kind of not into the crass humor like that sometimes, but this is actually hysterical. There's one where they have a bad guy, and he gets in a car, and he looks like one of the members of the party. And Jotaro, and so the 2 other members are driving in the front, the old man and one of the other guys, and they're harassing him, and it's hysterical, this exchange that goes back and forth. So if you haven't been watching JoJo's, short of it is, get on it now. It's really good. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, a lot of fun. They're getting closer and closer to Lord Dio, and they're going to take him on pretty soon. And I'm really enjoying this anime, and also I'm reading. Are you reading anything right now, book-wise?
Not sci-fi fantasy, really. Actually, no. I'm about to start 11/22/63 by Stephen King.
Okay, so you're going into King, and you haven't started yet. I'm reading A Clash of Kings, which is the second Song of Ice and Fire book.
Yeah,
for Game of Thrones.
That's what's really called, all you TV wannabe nerds.
Yeah, Song of Ice and Fire series, and it's number 2 out of 5 or 6, depending on
Well, it's supposed to be 7.
7, yeah.
But he hasn't even finished 6 yet because he hates us all.
Yeah. So he's slow, and he admits he's slow. How long it takes him to write anything, but this is just incredible. This book, it's really, really good, and you can see why this series is so hot. The books are amazing. I can barely put them down, and they're so huge.
Well, it's funny because the show got so many people into the books. Yeah. Like Kyle, he watched the show first, and now he's going back and reading the books.
I think the books are incredible, and they have a tendency to go into really fine detail in the books, like what people are eating for dinner, and then they'll describe every little thing, or what the smells were like, or the dust on a windowsill. But it really works.
8 million relatives in a family.
8 million relatives. That's the only major hard part about this series, because you read all these. I
read 1, 2, 3. I haven't read 5. I read 1, 2, 3, 4.
You've got up to 4, and you and I were talking about this, and we said the hardest part is that the family trees of all these people is like, woo.
You're like, what?
It's really the Silmarillion all over again. When you read the Silmarillion, you gotta get into that tree with this guy begat that guy, and that guy was a brother-in-law with this guy, and this guy had a great uncle who was that guy, and they were fighting this guy, and oh my God, you're all over the place trying to keep up with this. And sometimes it can be a little daunting to keep up what's going on. I mean, just on top of that, you got the main characters. You've got the Lannisters, and then you've got the Starks, and each one of them are broken down in their own chapters. Then you've got, is it
Daenerys.
Daenerys, I can never say her name. Daenerys, and she's coming in from, she's getting ready to make a move, and everybody's got this big play against each other. So it's all these kings duking it out, Clash of Kings, and that's really what it is. Everybody's gone to civil war, and they're all going after the throne, the Iron Throne. And so, great book. Highly recommend you get into this if you got some time to, even if you want to do audiobooks. Great way to kill time. I think that's it for me on everything. I don't think I have anything else.
Yeah, I think I'm good this week, actually.
So I think we're going to wrap it up. If you want to support us in any way, shape, or form, the best way you can do it, if you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're on YouTube channel. I can't say that fast. We are on Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, Minds.com. I haven't done a whole lot with Minds. Minds is still in beta, so it's kind of like struggling there a little bit. I'm not really sure how much more I'm going to do with that. But we're into Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Minds. What have I missed?
iTunes?
Twitter, iTunes. We got a presence everywhere, and you can see we've right on the main page. If you go there, we've got links to a lot of this stuff. And I don't think I missed anything on that. Also, if you're shopping, if you go to Amazon or you're on go to our website Sci-Clops.com. Just click through to Amazon. If you got an ad blocker, just turn it off for a second. Get the Amazon ad. Click through from our website. Anything you buy there, we get a few pennies that helps support the site, and Amazon keeps us as an affiliate. And it's a great way to support us. It doesn't cost a penny. And in the meantime, what is tomorrow? Today, by the way, is May 3rd.
Yeah.
Give the date away. So what's tomorrow?
Well, I had
May
to
the
say
4th
Star
be
Trek
with
Day.
you. Not
Yeah.
Star Trek Day.
Yeah.
So we're going to see what happens. It should be some big news tomorrow. I'm hoping they'll drop something on us for the fans.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. In the meantime, we'll be back in about a week or so. And trying to think what we got. Star Wars. We get the Alien movie about to drop.
Guardians of the Galaxy comes out this Friday.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, that's
People
going to be a lot of fun.
I'm seeing people have already bought tickets for that way in advance.
Yeah.
Like, wow. Because everybody was on some of the sites I was going to say, look, I got my ticket, and they're putting
Hopefully I'm going to be
up.
able to go after work on Friday.
Yeah, we'll see how, and I think it's going to be hot. They've been pushing that. It's going to be a massive opening.
Yeah.
And that's it. Have a great week. Keep the geek. We'll see you later.
Bye, guys.